So the wait is over and the Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition SH Figuarts are finally here. So it's been around 6 months since Tomashination's Bandai made that announcement of their final battle wave, having already released a Thor and War Machine since then. And now we have Rescue, Captain America, and the figure you'll be seeing in this video, Iron Man Mark 85. So arguably we have 3 of the figures that people have been looking forward to the most. So stay tuned for the review of Rescue in the upcoming videos. And before I begin with the unboxing and review of Iron Man, I just want to show you the 2 Final Battle Edition boxes. Absolutely amazing, probably the best styled packaging on any SH Figuarts, or at least for Marvel. Just look at the colors, the purple design, which matches well with the Avengers Endgame theme. And of course we have the characters at the front, which resemble some of their old style packaging, which I've always liked. For example, a Iron Man 3, a Civil War figure, and a Infinity War figure. You can see all those designs are very matching to the character or the film. And of course we have the characters at the front. To some people it doesn't matter too much, I guess it's just a packaging, but to me I use it as a backdrop. I sometimes leave the figure inside the box. It just makes it look a lot more premium, especially with this one. And if we compare last year's figures, you can see that they went for that quantum suit type of theme, which is very simple and plain. Nothing wrong with it, of course, but if you just compare it with these two, this one definitely wins. So stay tuned for the full comparison videos of Iron Man and Captain America as well. So now let's begin with the Iron Man Mark 85. Just like in the intro, I mentioned the color theme of the box. It is a purple color, which matches well with the Avengers Endgame title. Of course, the usual Tomashinations and Bandai logos, as well as the stickers, are on there. We have the bonus, which is Iron Man at the front. And it's a small detail, but SH Figuarts and Iron Man Mark 85 Final Battle Edition is in gold color, which makes it a lot more premium. And something we didn't get on the sides for the previous Endgame boxes is the picture of the figure. So we have Iron Man with the blade, as well as Iron Man in the standard poses. Again, all the writing is in gold. And at the top we have the titles, and at the bottom we have a photo and titles. On the back is the usual photos of the character and different poses with the accessories. I'm surprised they used the standard head as the Tony Stark one, which is something they don't really do in their previous figures. It's always been the Tony Stark head sculpt as the extra. So inside they've actually given us a gold shiny background, again very premium and nice. And I think the usual manuals are inside as well. So the first layer, we have the blade, a back piece I believe, and the repulsor as well as the flight effects. And the other side is the figure itself with the lightning refocuser, the shield, the alternative head and the alternative hands. So let's begin with the action figure right out of its packaging. So we have the Tony Stark head sculpt on the battle damaged armor, as well as the lightning refocuser connected to the back. So I want to say that this is the 3rd time they've made a Tony Stark head sculpt on a SH Figuarts after the Mark IV and the Iron Man 3 versions. Both were fantastic and resembled Tony Stark Robert Downey Jr. This one is no different in my opinion. It might even be the best resemblance to Tony Stark. They've got the detail on the hairstyle, and to me it just looks a lot better than the promotion photos even. Maybe it's just the angle and the lighting, but in person it looks great. In terms of the armor, they call it the battle damaged version, but it isn't the one in the right at the end battle. It is during the battle, I guess, because it's not fully damaged. But in terms of the color of the tones, it's a lot darker. You can definitely differentiate it from last year's version. In terms of the repulsor, it looks pretty nice. It is pretty detailed, so I don't have too much complaints about that. I know there have been some third-party versions as well, which I have seen in person, but I've just never gone for that type of thing. but maybe I will do just to test it out in the future. But in terms of the way the figure feels and looks, it's pretty much standard. It's kind of what you expect for an Iron Man figure. So overall, I'm very happy with the way it looks. So our next step is probably the articulation. So Tamashii Nations are well known for their movement of their figures, different poses. I've generally not had a problem with their articulation of their figures. Maybe there have been the odd ones where the joints are a bit stiff or just a bit loose, I don't know. But in terms of most of the time, I like their articulation. So let's just see if that is the case for this figure as well. So now for the articulation of the lightning refocuser. And for each piece, it actually rotates all the way around, which I didn't expect when I first saw the promotion photos. So that's pretty nice. And it's quite similar to the Nano Weapon Set 2 for the Mark 50, also from the Endgame line. So it'll be interesting to do some future videos and compare the figures as well. So it's pretty standard and pretty neat. So to remove it, you just slightly take it out like this. And then you can place the replacement piece on the back. So now for the full articulation of the Iron Man Mark 85, starting off with the head sculpt. So as we removed the full neck before, we're not going to have a full 360 spin for the head sculpt. You can actually do it because I have tested it slightly just now, and you're going to have to put a lot of force to it, which I don't want to do in case I break the neck. So I'm just going to do the standard side to side movement, which is enough for everyone. And then we have downwards motion, which is good for the flight poses as well as the upwards ones. So this is what you get in all the Iron Mans. And we have side to side movement, of course. And then for the arms, they do, of course, go all the way up and back down. So you get a full rotation there. You can also have side to side movement like this, or like this. And then for the arms, for the biceps, it is a 360 spin. And then for the lower half of the arm, you get the bend, which goes back this much. And then for the hands, it's a full 360 spin because you can actually change it. And there's also a pivot to go inwards and outwards, which some people like as well. So the arms are pretty standard for Iron Man. Now for the top half of the body. So we have side to side movement, and it does actually go all the way around if you want to. And then it goes backwards this much, if you want to see. And it goes forwards this much. And it can go side to side like this. And then for the lower half of the body, it's the same. It goes all the way around if you want to. You've got to be extra careful for Iron Man because some parts do come loose if you turn it too much. And it goes side to side as well, but of course there is going to be some gaps when you do that. And then for the legs, they do have rotation, full 360, but you can turn it both ways. And they can stretch like this. And of course, kick forwards and backwards. And then for the knees, so they bend like this. So it is double jointed. And they go quite far back if you want to. And then for the foot, you do get a full rotation if you want, as well as going forwards and upwards and sideways. So the foot is no problem. And then the toes as well, you can actually push it slightly upwards as well. So yeah, that's the articulation. It's pretty standard for Iron Man. I guess it is a bit stiff as it's a new figure, but I know over time it can become a bit loose. But otherwise, it's pretty much your standard articulation. So now we can move on to the accessories. So for the weapons, we have a blade as well as a shield, both of them with a right hand attached to it. We also get 4 sets of alternate hands for different poses. We get 6 pieces of the repulsor effects and 6 parts for the lightning refocuser. To put the effects on the lightning refocuser, we're going to have to remove the pieces from it. Remember to keep the pieces into a safe place in case you lose them. So for each of the effects, they come in different sizes, so make sure you place them in the correct one. Now let's take a look at the figure next to some of its other SH Figuarts. Next to the Iron Man Mark 85, next to Captain America, next to Thor, next to Thanos, and next to all of them. And here's a comparison of the Tony Stark head sculpt with the Iron Man 3 version. So now for my overall opinion of the Iron Man Mark 85 Final Battle Edition. Firstly, I'm going to say this is a fantastic figure, one we really should have gotten the first time round. But I do understand Tamashii Nations needed this figure even before they saw it in the cinemas. It's obviously an improvement to last year's version, from the box to the battle damaged armor, the Tony Stark head sculpt, plenty of accessories, and the standout accessory, the lightning refocuser, which takes this figure to another level. In terms of the standard things, it has good articulation, the usual repulsor effects, and the alternative hands. It's kind of what I expected. However, we can all agree that the main thing missing here is the nano gauntlet. This was probably the most iconic scene in Avengers Endgame, even in the whole of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you're going to give us a Tony Stark head sculpt, I think they should have given us a gauntlet as well. The other improvement is they could have given us a damaged head sculpt for Tony Stark, like he's bleeding, although it's unlikely on the toy, and preferably a more damaged armor. So who knows in the future if they'll make another Iron Man Mark 85. But let's just hope that other figures will include these bonus accessories, something that Mafex have done. So overall, I'm going to give this a 8.5 out of 10. I'm very happy with this figure, and it may be the best Iron Man yet. But the lack of gauntlet is probably the reason they didn't get a 9 or even a 10. As for whether it's worth getting if you already have the original Mark 85, I would say it is with all the extra accessories. But some may feel that the original is good enough as you already have the nano weapon set Mark 50 as well. So stay tuned as I will be reviewing the Captain America and Rescue Final Battle figures as well. And be sure to stick around as I'll do a full comparison with last year's version of the Mark 85. Maybe do some head swapping as well as some accessory swapping. So please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and hope to see you very soon.